Hi Eva, how are you?
Oh, pretty good. Sorry for the glasses. I don't want to look like a diva. It's just that I have a problem with the lights, with my eyes are really sensible this time of the year.
They're
So
very
sorry.
cool glasses, so don't worry.
Thank you. Can I just say thank you for the movie? Because I really, enjoyed every single minute of that. And I want to know, how did you make the magic? Because it's so relatable. Also, if it's set in
Yeah,
something that is fictional, something that you create with your own imagination. All of us have different idea
yeah,
of eternity. But how did you mix there is like this side of the relationship in which we think that they might be have to be perfect, but
yeah.
you actually showed that the imperfection is the things that it's important. So how did the movie talks in your opinion about these two aspects?
I mean, thank you. That's really kind. I think for me, yeah, the film is a celebration of love in its many forms, and it was really important that the film kind of shows that you can have more than one great love in your life, and that love changes over time. And I think both men in this film, Luke and Larry, represent very different types of love. And like you said, they're not perfect. They're both imperfect men, as is Joan, Lizzie's character. But yeah, it was about just trying to show two very different great loves and this impossible choice for Joan. I think we just hinged it on that entirely, and hopefully that kind of is captivating. And I think I hopefully it makes an audience reflect on their own lives and their own relationships and whatever that is to them. But yeah, I mean, love isn't perfect, and perfect is incredibly boring.
Yeah, I don't want to spoil it, but yeah,
Yeah,
definitely. Because the idea, maybe the idea that we have when you start to romanticize in your head the things that you haven't lived, it looks amazing. And then when you live that, it doesn't know how it goes. It can go good or
yeah,
it can go really boring.
yeah,
But I was so fascinated by the fact that you integrate something that in reality show it's really common, the date one, how you call that in English, like when you do in reality show when they have to go out and
yeah,
decide
yeah,
which partner have to.
yeah,
I think it's incredible to put that in a romantic comedy, that it's so unconventional and so atypical, and you put also some lynch element, it's at the end, so I won't spoil that.
yeah.
How did you combine all of this? How was that?
Yeah. I mean, I think again, it started with the characters, and we built the world around them in a way that reinforced this dilemma for Joan and this journey. Um, I mean, I think the film, like, there's so many different references for the film. I mean, Lynch obviously definitely came into it particularly later when it gets a little more surrealist. But I wanted this world to just feel very tangible and tactile around these characters, and feel like our world. And we always came back to that in the design and in the story. How does this world reinforce their journeys? And as far as the different dates go, I mean, it's a great. You're right. It kind of comes from reality TV. That idea of trying each one out and then having your choice at the end, and we really ran with that idea. The idea that this is almost like a competition, which it is. And we just brought that to its full fruition. And then having both those dates be diametrically opposed, one being a winter wonderland and one being a beach, just felt like, again, both men representing very different ideas and ideals for for Joan's character.
And I'm asking you, since I'm a huge fan of the romantic comedy of the late 90s,
Yeah,
at the end of the millennium. But we always say there is something that is missing in cinema nowadays. We don't see that kind of romance
yeah,
again. But maybe this movie it's the real key because it's different. It gets the spirit, but it's more realistic. Maybe we
yeah,
need something like that after 20 years. We are more realistic right now as a millennials. I don't know,
yeah.
uh, uh, because it really impact me a
Oh,
lot. And
thank
if I
you.
think back to those movies, they look like fairy tales in a certain
Yeah.
way. Maybe we need more something more realistic right now, also in rom-com. What do you think?
I mean, I think that's probably a hope. I mean, that might be very true. I think we are. I think as a generation, we're quite cynical now. I think that we I think we don't really believe in the fairy tale, and this film is very much so saying that the fairy tale is a fantasy, and that love has its flaws and imperfections, and actually that everyday love is what's special about life. and the film tries to celebrate that. So hopefully that's something that people respond to. I love romantic comedies. I always have them. I think when they're done well, they're the best genre, and I would love to see more of them. And I think we are beginning to see more of them. And I think you're right. They do need to, I think the romantic comedies of the 90s are of their time, and we do need something that's slightly different now for our generations and I guess younger. But yeah, it's it's love is imperfect, and I think it's not a fairy tale, and I hopefully that's what the film shows. And if we can see more of that, that's great.
Can you do that one a year? One each year?
I'll
Can you do a movie each
try.
year?
I'll try.
Okay.
I'll try.
Please do.
If they can give me the money, I'll do it.
Please, please, please. It really was a mind-blowing movie.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you.
much for making it, and I
Thank
can't
you.
wait to talk about your next projects.
Thank you
next
so
time.
much. Thank you very much.
Grazie mille.